Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. Hello to everybody that's joining me today. I'm so excited to have you here and be sharing this wonderful information with you. I'm so excited. I'm seeing lots of people joining. Hello. It's very exciting to see lots of familiar names and lots of people today, so thank you. Welcome, everybody. This is the first of my naturally nourishing conversations with
Hello.
Meeta.
Hi, really nice
Hi,
to meet you.
guys. How are you?
Hey, we're good. We're
We're great,
excited.
yeah.
I'm excited too. I'm seeing lots of people joining in, which is very exciting. This is the first time, guys, so this is fun. I was just saying, my inspiration behind this has really come from my own journey of health and well-being, and it's just opened up my eyes to this whole new world. I mean, here I am talking about red light therapy. I thought there was just a pill for every ill, and that was
Yes.
that's just how you fixed yourself. So it's really nice to have you guys on here and lots of people joining. Hello, everybody. Thank you for
Hi.
joining in.
Hello.
So I'm going to do a little introduction. You guys will probably do a better job. But to everybody that is here, these are the brains of LuminousRed. This is Barbara. She likes to be called Babsy. Is that okay if we call you
Correct.
Babsy,
Perfect.
Babsy today? And Thomas.
Hi.
They are both PhD students, so they really are the brains behind this company. Barbara is a happiness and mental health researcher. Is that correct?
Yes.
And burnout as well.
Burnout, exactly. Burnout and happiness is my
Burnout and
thesis.
happiness. And I believe that Thomas is a lighting expert, but not just
Yes.
any old lighting expert, like really taking a deep dive into lighting and how it affects the human body. And
Exactly.
I'm probably not doing it very much justice, and you can probably do a better job of introducing it than I can.
Yeah, so in my thesis, I'm researching light and well-being, how light and our surroundings interact with us humans and help us be our best selves, basically.
Perfect. I love it. So I think a good place to start, everybody that I seem to meet in this world has their own story and has, a reason that brought them there. And so I think a good place to start would be just tell us a little bit about your journey and what got you to where you are today.
Who starts?
Start.
Okay. So 3 years ago, I think it was like around 3 years ago, both of us weren't feeling so great in very different areas. For me, it was more on the mental side, mental health, heading towards a burnout myself at a very young age. And we just wanted to change something. And yeah, we wanted to make our own red light room in our home. So no business idea yet. Started exploring all the different options, what companies there were out there. And alongside with other things that we changed, which is nutrition, lifestyle, living by a rhythm, but also different herbs and just testing out different things. Red light therapy really stuck with us. And we basically got all of the devices that were on the market at that time. And it helped us a lot, and both of us, even though it was in very different areas.
Yeah, exactly. So Babsi was blossoming again, I would say, and for me it was on the physical side, because I had a big operation and basically my complete hormonal system shut down after it, and it was really weird for me because I'm also young, and so if you're young, you have power and energy all the time. And if your hormones don't really behave like they should do, you feel like an 80-year-old, and your blood values show that. So as Babsi said, we tried out a lot of biohacking interventions. A lot of them helped us a bit. And the one thing that really, as Babsi said, stuck with us was light. As an intervention, as kind of a form of a supplement that is non-invasive. Because it was so easy to apply, and it had a tremendous effect on for example, my blood values, and also on Babsi's mental side of things. So this was great for us. We tried out so many devices.
Very different symptoms that you both had.
Yes, definitely. And it was so weird because it helped for both of us.
And that's one of the things that I think really drew me to red light therapy, because it was
I think it just through my world, through some of my sort of trials and tribulations, I then decided, when I felt better, I then decided, right, I need to tell the world about everything that I'm learning. I need to share this. And you have that passion and that drive and that inspiration. And one of the things that stood out about red light therapy was that it's so versatile. You can use it for so many different things. So before we jump into that, what is photobiomodulation? It's such a long word. What does it even mean? I mean, what is red light? Talk to us about it.
Maybe about the word. So most commonly referred to red light therapy, but the scientific term, as you said, is photobiomodulation. And photo stems from light, so light energy that we're using. Bio is our human body or animals, but a biological mechanism. And modulation basically means changing something, enhancing something. So a little bit about that word. But in very short explanation, we can go into depth as much as you like. But very short explanation is that photobiomodulation uses two wavelength spectrums of light, which is red and near infrared light. And if we expose our organism to that light, our cells, our mitochondria more specifically, get activated and enhanced. And this is a natural process that occurs in our body anyways, through food we take in or other environmental factors. Our mitochondria gets to working, which is basically cellular energy. This cellular energy can be used for different mechanisms in our body or different benefits. And we basically try to get the knowledge out there that mitochondrial health or proper or even enhanced mitochondrial workings are very important. It doesn't matter if you're old or if you're young. It's a very basic natural mechanism that should be boosted and taken care of, basically.
And as you said, there's an abundance of use cases, I would say, and science goes into a lot of them. So there are now over 5,000 studies done on the topic on various fields. But as Babsi said, so this core effect or working mechanism is really, it upregulates our mitochondria, so the energy houses of our cells, and allows us to produce energy in our bodies more efficiently and effectively. And I think this is this core hypothesis that we are researching in science or seeing in science for these various effects, that basically if your body has a bigger potential, I would say, or your bodily functions have more potential to work even more flawlessly, and then it can do a lot of good things for us.
And I think maybe for a lot of people that are watching, when I first heard about this, mitochondria is something that I learned about in school when I was about 14. It's like, why do I need to know about this? But really, it's that fatigue and that feeling that you have no energy and your mitochondria being really, really depleted. So I think once you've got that kind of up and running, then it really switches on that kind of healing response in your body. And then everything else kind of falls into place, and everything kind of works in rhythm. So that's the wonderful thing that I love about red light therapy. I've obviously had my device from you guys. I think it's been about 2 years now. I love it, and I have so many uses for it. I originally started using it for my brain health because I had an injury, actually several injuries throughout the years, but the last injury really did sort of take an effect. And so I was using it for, my brain health. I was having daily headaches, and I really saw an improvement in my fatigue and my energy levels. So we've got a couple of questions here, so we'll dip into those in a second. But before we go into what the device actually is, like what are we actually talking about? My device is probably about so high. It's probably one of the more smaller devices. Some of the people that follow me on my stories will see me on a Sunday sitting in front of my red light therapy, but I do use it. You can use it for skin health. You can use it. I use it on my children as well when they have an injury and when they are in pain or they're slightly inflamed. I will use it when they've had an injury. But what are the key things that people use red light therapy for?
So the great thing generally is mitochondrial health, which is like the underlying mechanism for everything on how our body functions. But other than that, benefits go from muscle recovery to mental health, brain health, like you were talking about, anxiety, depression, autism, even autism spectrum disorder.
There's a bit of research on
skin health, because natural collagen production is boosted, inflammation, pain. So we really see, and the crazy thing to me personally, when I started out, it all seemed like it might be even a spiritual thing. But to me, the most interesting thing is that it's really not spiritual, but it's actually explainable through science. And these are actual biological effects that happen in your body. And all goes down basically to a functioning mitochondria.
Yeah. So if you're not hearing it, folks, your mitochondria is very, very important to take good care of. Now, how quickly, how long do you use one of these devices for? And how quickly would you start seeing benefits?
I would say it really depends on what you are trying to achieve, of course. So, for example, for skin health, so collagen production and so on, you go more gently. So like, I don't know, for our devices, it's like 5 minutes to 10 minutes, something like that, depending on distance. And for
daily, by the way, daily
if you want. And wound healing or also deeper tissue work, it takes, I would say, for most of the people out there, like between 8 and 15 minutes or so.
So it's really not a long time then, is it? For what's the maximum dosage that you can do in a day?
So that's what I was gonna say too. It's really hard to pinpoint an exact number of how long you should do these routines or treatments, because what we see in science is that the effects kind of are U-shaped. So the longer or the more you're exposed to the light, it doesn't automatically mean that the more effects you get and the faster it happens. You really have to try to kind of get in that sweet spot of not too much and not too little. Because if you get too much or too little, it can happen that you have no effects, basically. And the rule of thumb is kind of around 10 to 20 minutes at the maximum daily, depending also if you do various routines on different smaller body parts or if you expose your whole body to it. But I would say roughly 20 minutes maximum a day with our machines. It also depends on the intensity of the machine. Is like the maximum, and any more than that would give you no effect, basically. And that's something that we don't want, of course.
So as part of like a self-care routine, which is obviously something that you guys, I know, use it for, because I've seen you share it in your stories. I mean, are you using it on the full body? Are you using it topically on specific areas of the body? How are you using it on a daily basis?
Also very differently.
I think, So I think Babsi a lot of times uses it for skin health.
Mostly like
beautifying.
Only the head, so brain health, skin health.
And I myself, what I love to do is I incorporate into my early morning routine. So I get up, do sports on a vibration plate, and have like our full body devices back and front of my body, so I get complete body radiation.
Is that while you're working out?
Yes. So I have like a power plate, you know, it vibrates, and then you can do your regimen on there, and you have like 10-15 minutes that I do that in total, and I get my complete body like irradiated by light, and have like general wellness, anti-aging effects from it. So I get my metabolism gets pumped up. I'm concentrated, and the interesting thing when you do that is we have like free-floating mitochondria in our whole body, in our blood system. So when you do full body radiation, you really also get these free-floating mitochondria in your bloodstream, and you get effects throughout the whole day. So you have like really upped energy levels, and you have very good sleep as well.
I love it. I was going to ask about sleep actually, because is it something that you would do in the morning? Could you do it just before you went to bed, or would that have an effect on your sleep? Or what time of day would you use it?
again comes back to what do you want out of it. So that's kind of the first question we always ask our clients, customers, or friends that use our devices. But for more energy, I would say the morning is preferable, because you get up and then you get that ATP, that more cellular energy activated. But we also see studies, and we do this ourselves as well, right before sleep, near infrared light. Interestingly, the light that we can't really see, it's almost invisible to the human eye, attached to the brain, like the left and right side of the brain, right before going to sleep, also helps a lot, like with sleep, melatonin production, calming down small like headaches or underlying migraines that you might have. So it's really so those things are a really big topic, as we already said, but also the time of when you consume the light.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing here, or the thing that we have to keep in mind, is that it's not something like a cup of coffee or a supplement that you take in and you have a pump of energy, but it basically allows your body to work smoother. So meaning, like, if you get up, if the day starts, and your body is able or has more potential to perform at its best, it uses it for that. And if you use it before going to bed, your body uses that surplus energy or potential to have a better sleep. So that's the cool thing.
It's like an adaptogen.
Yeah,
kind of works with your body, like the like the ashwagandhas of this world.
Exactly.
I love that. I didn't know that about red light, so I've learned something new today. Because I'm always concerned about using it at night. Sometimes, you know, when I haven't had a great night's sleep the night before, I am always worried about using it at night, because I think, it might, you know, affect my sleep, and I'm probably I might be better off having it in the morning. So that's good to know. All right, well, we've had a question, like, what does it actually look like? And I know you've got several models and devices. So, over to you guys.
If you don't mind, I would have to get up really quickly and get our device.
Of course. I would love that. I think everyone watching would love to see what we're actually talking about and help them kind of visualize what it would look like in their homes.
And so maybe I try to start and explain it a bit.
I think so.
Gets it.
Yeah, you're the light expert, so go for it.
So basically what we do, or what kind of devices we have, is it's something like a panel. You have one as well, in different sizes, that you can stack together like Legos, basically, and have it as a targeted device or full body device, or whatever you like. So
this is our smallest device. This is how it looks like. But very briefly explained, it's basically a metal frame where you put LEDs in. And those LEDs emit either red or near infrared light, or both with our devices. And the black thing that you see here on top is the brain. We call this the brain. And through this, you can set a timer, start the treatment, stop the treatment, pause the treatment. And here's a little display for the timer. So with this, you control the device.
Exactly.
So and that's the one that I have. My model looks, I think I have an older version of it.
Without the brain in it.
Brain, I don't have a brain in mine. Thanks, guys. But mine looks slightly different, and the panel is on the side. But it's a really nice, I did want to get the full body one. But I got the small one just to kind of try it out, and I like it because you can move it around and you can use it for, like, my husband has used it when he's had back pain. You know, my girls have used it, and they've used it sitting on the floor. So it's very versatile in terms of its size. Can that small one be stacked with the other larger ones?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. So in the back, which I was trying, we have a stand, so you can basically place it anywhere you want. And then at the bottom, it might not look so professional right now, but at the bottom, as you can see, this is basically the magic. This is basically the magic that makes this like a Lego stick almost, or like a Lego cube, where you can basically add on underneath, but also to the side. So in all the bigger devices, what I wanted to say is you can hang and not stand like the smaller
So
ones.
you have it like a wall in front of you. Or laying down, or however you want, and basically get the treatment that way.
Cool.
But we always also kind of suggest, because you said you got the small one to kind of try out. I think that's really great.
It's a good idea.
We always suggest that as well, because it's so easy to add on to it or like expand over time. Just to get to know red light therapy, I would also recommend like the Model 1. seeing how it works, getting like in tune with red light therapy, because it's such a different working mechanism to what we're used to. So that's a great start.
And of course, also, it's like the most important thing I think about this is you should really be able to use it.
Yeah.
So what we see, especially with us as well, Babsi loves to use the smaller devices when sitting down, brushing her teeth or something like that. And I like to use the big ones standing up and doing my workout, basically. So that's how you prefer it, and you should test it out and see what fits you.
Yeah, I like the fact that are there any side effects that we should look out for when using these devices?
So basically what we see in science is that there are a few side effects if you really heavily overdose.
Okay.
With our devices, for example, and also other devices for at home use, the light emitting, the light emitter is a LED, basically. So this is LED technology. And with LEDs, the way they work basically is they emit the light, but not in a very super focused way, but more like it spreads because of the lenses and how it's emitted. And in science, they often use lasers. So lasers because they do a lot of non-human trials.
Yeah.
And they need to focus the light on certain body parts of animals, for example. And therefore, in science, sometimes it happens that they easily overdose it and see negative effects. But a few research articles in the recent years that compared lasers with LEDs suggested that with LEDs, it's really, really hard to severely overdose and therefore get negative reactions or effects. So basically with LEDs, you're on the safe side. And for the use cases that we want to have, it's very hard to do any harm, basically.
And about the negative effects, maybe the worst thing that can happen, as we said, is either you overdose or underdose and you don't get any effect. But small like side effects that we've seen so far from clients coming back to us are things like a little bit of a headache or like feeling a little bit dizzy. But what we've seen from experience, not from science, so no claim there, but what we see from experience is that those things basically happen because you're overclocking your body. You're functioning at a much higher level. Maybe you're not used to that. So there are questions like, are you hydrated enough? Are you prepared for this kind of enhanced cellular energy? So it's really hard for us to say side effects because I think that sounds really, really horrible. But the worst thing I think we've heard so far, but again, no claim, no health promises, is like a small headache or a little bit of dizziness.
So generally,
No, I was going to say, which is when you read the back of a packet of medication and you read the side effects, which is like an endless list, yet people still take them. You know, I have done so myself as well. Then you'll kind of take a minor headache, right? It's not that much of a big deal.
So
especially if you can fix it with something as simple as hydrating or like taking MCT oil.
So because what we see basically, the main working mechanism, as we explained, is you overclock your mitochondria, you get your metabolism going. So you also have these effects when you, for example, have a sauna or something and you are not prepared for it or not used to it. You easily get these effects initially. Or if you have basically, if your body is struggling. So we also see that quite a bit with people that are maybe mentally or physically not so well. When they start their regimen, initially they really need to take care that they, for example, properly hydrate or feed their bodies before treatments in order for their body to be able basically to use
maximize
the surplus.
Cool. Okay. So, I mean, I feel like since I've had my device, there's just been, and I think it's because of the world that we're in as well, in the health and wellness industry, there's just been this huge abundance of red light therapy devices. You know, there's like the Juves of this world and, you know, other names that people will recognize. So why LuminousRed, guys? This is your opportunity to sell you and your brand.
it kind of, for me personally, it brings me back to the moment of when we started to discuss business ideas, basically in our bathroom, in our own red light room. We kind of saw from an expertise of Thomas mostly that some things that we were experiencing, we didn't quite agree on. On one side, we kind of had the device itself, like from a technical standpoint, we saw, or Thomas saw, things that could be done better. But also from a, I would say, like social or psychological aspect, things were also missing for us, because as we see now, it's quite complicated to figure out the right dose. It's kind of still kind of experimental, I would say, even though there's a lot of science out there. And we felt back then like when you get a device, you pay a lot of money for that device. First question, does it have to be that expensive? Second question, you kind of don't get transparency from those community leaders or from those entrepreneurs telling you the exact technical specs of that device. So it's kind of blurry and makes the confusion even bigger. And then when you get that device, which is a huge investment that you've made, you kind of get it and maybe you might not know how to use it, and you don't really know how to contact these people. You maybe not even part of a community where you get to ask questions. So these things kind of were things that made us think, hey, maybe we could do this. I'm a psychologist, you're a lighting expert. Maybe we could really try to make a device that's better, closer to nature, even though it's an electronical device, but also really explain and bring education and science out there into a community that isn't afraid to ask questions. So that's kind of the whole idea that got us started and that we're trying to change. And
and I have to say, just from when I was looking into the devices, I was coming from quite a desperate point in my health at the time, and I knew that they were very good for boosting your mitochondria. But it was the answering of the questions, you know, it's like, what should I be going for? What kind of light? What size? And that was one thing that I did find with you guys, is that there was a lot of toing and froing on Instagram and chatting. But I did get all of my questions answered, and it did feel like very much a community. You very much use your Instagram feed to, you know, showcase how you use it, but also just feeling part of a community. And I know that there's a lot of people that have bought into it as well. So yeah, I think it's great. And on that note, guys, there is a special offer that these two lovely individuals have offered to anyone that is watching today and that is interested in buying a red light device. If you quote Nourish Meeta, you can get $50 off your device. This is a fab deal, guys. And please, 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 if this is something that you're interested in, this deal isn't going to go on forever. So I know it's for a short period only. We don't have a cutoff point, but it isn't very long. So we would love you to make the most of it. These guys can obviously answer any of your questions. I don't know if anyone watching right now has any questions at the moment about red light that we haven't covered. Do feel free to ask. If not, then we will move on to the next part of our conversation and perhaps do a little bit of self-care and some tapping if you're interested. Right, I'm just going to quickly, it's quite hard to like keep an eye on these comments.
That's right,
a lot of eye movement, and my brain is working overtime. I'm going to have to go on my red light device after this. Right, okay. I guess we're good. I think we've thank you so much for answering all of those questions. I think we have definitely learned a lot about red light and red light therapy, and it really, for me, it's something that I really think everyone should have. I really want to get one for my mum. She suffers from arthritis in her knee. I think she's watching as well at the moment, so hi mum. But she really suffers from arthritis in her knee, and I think it would just be something that's a good tool to have for all kinds of ailments around the house. It's just a good weapon to have in your arsenal. So on that, we'll then move on to some tapping. I know some of my listeners are keen to try this out and what tapping is all about. Now, I know, Babsi, you told me that you had experienced tapping as a young teenager. Is that right?
Yeah, in school when we just talked like a few weeks back. you said, do you know EFT tapping? And I said, yes, because
I was so surprised.
Back in school, I was really like anxious and stressed out and started to get like actual physical symptoms from my mental status not being balanced.
I showed it to you.
Yeah,
right?
But also Thomas also showed me.
Because I was like, when I was, it was 15 years ago
Yeah,
now. I started to also tap a bit.
Yeah.
Like
15 years ago. That's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah. And so first Thomas, but also my mom kind of introduced me to it and said, here's a really quick, simple, but very, very effective stress releasing technique. And yeah, I've done it quite frequently back then. And every now and again, like if things get overwhelming, I really love getting back to it. So I know about it.
I love that you've both used it. I mean, it's great when people have heard of it, you know. I love that. But when they say they've used it 15 years ago when they were a teenager, that to me is like it, and it has, you know, it has been around a while, but I feel like it's really kind of just gaining that momentum now.
Definitely.
So for those of you that don't know what tapping is, I'm an EFT practitioner. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, which is just another name for tapping. Like Babsi said, tapping is really the quickest, simplest way to get your body out of fight and flight, to get rid of that anxiety, that stress, that overwhelm. And it basically works in exactly the same way as acupuncture. So instead of putting needles in you, you tap at specific points around your body and you activate these end meridian points, which really just gets the energy flowing and releases any stuck emotions. I love it as a technique. Again, I was introduced to it through my journey, was so overwhelmed with how quickly it worked, and just the transformation in my emotional health, that it was definitely one of the tools that I wanted to kind of add to my toolbox of sharing with others, because I think there's a lot you can do in the way of eating right and moving your body, but if you're stuck in this emotional crisis and all of these stuck emotions, then you're kind of not moving the needle enough. And so I love it. It looks completely weird, guys.
Yes.
I know a lot of my friends and family are like, what is she talking about? Here she goes again. But it looks really, really weird. But again, you know, for you brainiacs out there, it is very scientifically proven. An hour of tapping can reduce your cortisol by 43%. That's a wild number. There's no drug that can do that within the hour. So I love it. I'd love for us to have a little tapping round if you guys would like to do that. And for everyone watching at home, I would ask you to just join along. Copy and do exactly what I'm doing. It's just a great release. It's a great way to give our emotions a voice. To bring us to that calm, healing state. And yeah, just kind of see how you feel. There's a lot of, when the energy is moving through your body, there's different ways of release. Some people laugh, some people can get quite teary by the words that we're using. Some people yawn, and that's a really, really common one. It's a really common one for me. So if I have gone through this several times, so I don't yawn, but I may well yawn throughout. So it's very, very common to yawn. But if you do feel like you're feeling triggered while we're doing this, then my advice to you is to just keep on tapping, because you don't want that energy to be stuck and lodged in your system. We want to feel those uncomfortable feelings and we want to release them. And that is not human nature, because when we feel uncomfortable, we normally just want to push them away or have a glass of wine or eat some chocolate. But EFT is the very opposite of that. So we're just going to feel the feelings. So I figured, because of the subject of this conversation, I'd do something on burnout and self-care. Awesome. And so everyone, please join along. I'm going to get everyone to, first of all, take a nice deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. And then just go ahead and place your hand on your heart. And you can close your eyes for this if you wish, or you can keep them open. But we always start with sort of scaling where we're at and giving it a figure out of 10. So if I said to you, feeling stressed, feeling burnt out, feeling overwhelmed, tired, fatigued, just tune into your body, tune into your mind and body, and where do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? So 1 would be I'm completely calm, I don't feel any stress at all, and 10 would be I'm on the verge of burning out, and so kind of just rate yourself. You don't need to say it out loud. If you want to put your numbers in the box, you are welcome to do so. But just keep that number in mind for where you're at. So stress, overwhelm, and burnout. And then we're going to go through the points. So before we start a tapping round, I'm going to quickly show you guys the points. We have the karate chop point here. So we tap and we just tap a few times. There's the eyebrow point where your eyebrows begin. The side of the eye. Under the eye where you'll feel the little bone. Under the nose. Under the mouth, and just above the chin, there's a little dip there. So you just want to go for that dip. Collarbone. Under the arm, about 4 inches from the armpit or the bra line for women. And then top of the head, which is like a little bit of a monkey tap. So it looks completely crazy, but bear with me. All right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to do a tapping round. I'm going to ask you both to be my echo voice.
Sure.
And repeat after me. So we're going to start with the karate chop point, and we're going to go 3 times over here. So even though I feel stressed and overwhelmed,
I
love and accept these feelings.
I love and accept these feelings.
Even though I'm struggling to keep on top of things,
even though I'm struggling to keep on top of things,
I honor that this is how I feel.
I honor that this is how I feel.
Even though I'm having a really tough time right now.
Even though I'm having a really tough time right now.
And my energy is depleted.
And my energy is depleted.
I love, accept, and forgive myself.
I love, accept, and forgive myself.
And anyone else contributing to me feeling this way.
And anyone contributing
to just
me feeling this way. You're doing great. Feeling stuck and overwhelmed.
Feeling stuck and overwhelmed.
Too much to think about.
Too much to think about.
All this stress.
All this stress.
How can I even think about self-care?
How can I even think about self-care?
There's too much to do.
There's too much to do.
And never enough time for me.
And never enough time for me.
All this stress and overwhelm.
All this stress and overwhelm.
Maybe I feel it somewhere in my body.
Maybe I feel it somewhere in my body.
Like a pain or a sensation.
Like a pain or a sensation.
Even my body is sending me messages.
Even my body is sending me messages.
Signals to calm down.
Signals to calm down.
It's saying I need you.
It's saying I need you.
All this stress and overwhelm.
All this stress and overwhelm.
Maybe I don't feel worthy enough.
Maybe I don't feel worthy enough.
To put myself first.
To put myself first.
All this stress and overwhelm.
All the stress and overwhelm.
Just wanting things to go back to normal.
Just wanting things to go back to normal.
Sometimes I feel like I create my own anxiety.
Sometimes I feel like I create my own anxiety.
My own worries.
My own worries.
Sometimes I worry about not worrying.
Sometimes I worry about not worrying.
My mind is always racing.
My mind is always racing.
It doesn't feel safe to feel calm.
It doesn't feel safe to feel calm.
It feels safe to be busy.
It
feels safe to be busy.
All this resistance to loving myself.
All this resistance to loving myself.
All these reasons why I couldn't or shouldn't.
All these reasons why I couldn't or shouldn't.
But maybe that's just old programming.
But maybe that's just old programming.
I'm willing to let it go now.
I'm willing to let it go now.
It's safe to let it go.
It's safe to let it go.
Releasing and letting go of this stress.
Releasing and letting go of distress.
Any pain, any suffering.
Any pain, any suffering.
Any stuck emotions.
any stuck emotion,
any anger,
any
anger,
any fear,
any fear,
any sadness,
any sadness,
any shame.
any shame,
Letting go of it all.
letting go of it all.
It's safe to let it go.
It's safe to let it go.
It feels good to let it go.
Feels good to let it go.
Feels good to release some of this weight.
Feels good to release some of this weight.
It feels good to have a choice.
Feels
good to have a choice.
I choose to feel safe in my body.
I choose to feel safe in my body.
I choose to feel peace.
I choose to feel peace.
I choose to be present.
I choose to be present.
I choose to love myself.
I choose to love myself.
I choose to find moments of joy and happiness.
I choose to find moments of joy and happiness
in every day.
In every day.
No matter how big or small.
No matter how big or small.
And pockets of peace and calm.
In pockets of peace and calm.
I choose to love me just the way I am.
I choose to love me just the way I am.
Because I am worthy.
Because
I'm worthy.
Because I am loved.
Because I'm loved.
Because I am enough.
Because I'm enough.
And stop tapping and go back to putting your hand on your heart. Close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in, everyone. And exhale through your mouth. And just tune into that number that you felt at the beginning, where it was your stress, your fatigue. And if that number has changed for you at all, if it has come down, if it's the same, just focus on how it feels for you right now. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. How was that, friends?
Oh, so nice.
Yeah. How did you, and anyone that participated, thank you. Please let us know what your numbers were, if you felt any shifts, if you felt any improvements or not. But what about, we'll hear from you two first. How were your numbers and how did you feel?
My number decreased by a lot. And I really enjoy this. I feel my body temperature got really, really warm. Like almost like sweating a little bit, but in a nice way. Like I feel really, really activated. Like my nervous system is boosted now.
Good. What about you, Thomas?
So for me, I also had quite a high number. So for me, it was like 8-ish at the beginning, I would say, because in the last few days we had a lot of stress,
a
lot of work, and we only coped with it by taking walks or so. So it never really goes that much down. And within the tapping session, it went down for me to 5 to 6 or something like that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so down a bit, not too much, but it really got me going and motivated to go on. Because what I see and what I did a few years ago is, like when I was really stressed in school or something, or had a test coming up, you could really, within a few of these tapping rounds, you can go down to 1 or something like that.
Yeah,
and you have
it's really
completely new view.
It's really incredible because it helps you kind of clear that fog. I'm just reading some of the comments, guys. Thank you so much for taking part. I love it when I see this because a lot of these are my friends and my family who are always asking me about this. So it's wonderful that you guys are able to take part. You're absolutely right, Thomas. In just a few of those tapping rounds, you can really clear those emotions. I actually go to schools and teach this in schools as well.
Nice.
So just that whole test anxiety, friends anxiety, you know, all the things that you wish you knew, and you could kind of take a little bit of control over. I use it on my girls quite often. It's really, really effective. So guys, if you enjoyed it, I would encourage you to use the points. And even if you don't remember all of them, even if you just remember one, like this is a common one for people, you know, and if you're, I'm feeling stressed, releasing and letting go. If that's all you said, then that in itself would just be helpful to kind of move things through for you. But I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. There's definitely more of these to come. So we'll be doing a few more. But before we say goodbye, I just wanted to do a quick fire round of just a couple of questions that have nothing to do with red light, have nothing to do with caffeine. Nothing too crazy, guys. But and I want to get both of your opinions on this. So what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, that's a tough one. But the first thing that really comes to mind is be yourself and love being yourself and let your light shine, kind of.
I love that.
I feel like it took me a long time, like only just recently, like a year. The last year has been so long and so short. But yeah, let your light shine and be yourself, and yeah, just don't worry about fitting in or like, well, what's gonna happen. Just be yourself.
I love that. I love that. That's just so beautiful because, like you, I think it's taken me 40 years to get there. So
yes,
it's quite a journey. So what about you, Thomas?
For
what
me,
would you say to your younger self?
I would say, because I only learned it in the last year or two, embrace the struggle, I would say something like that. So even if the roller coaster goes down for a bit, or if things seem overwhelming, go with the flow and simply hang in there and learn also from the downside. So I think this is the greatest thing, because you really like create or build resilience for yourself. And if you can master even things that might seem not so great, you really embrace your whole life or your whole life experience.
And I think that's just true for life in general, right? We have to embrace that kind of progress over perfection. Nothing's going to be perfect all of the time, and there are going to be difficult moments and difficult struggles, but there is always light at the end of the tunnel. You're just bringing it back. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, literally light.
All right, next question. What does your morning routine look like? I am an avid believer. Any one of my clients watching this will know that I talk nothing else about what does your morning routine, what do you do when you wake up in the morning? So I know you guys have got that one pretty locked down as well, but what do you do for your morning routine?
But also agree with you. It's vital to how you literally set yourself up for the day, but also for your life. It's such a big part of our life. To me, like the very important baseline is allowing myself to be flexible with my morning routine. So I don't have a very set, strict, long, short morning routine, but I really like having the freedom of waking up and choosing what fills my cup that day. But the essentials would definitely be go out, even if it's just to get a fresh breath of air, just to go out, working out if I have the time to, and red light therapy. And the last thing would be enjoying a coffee with Thomas, because that's always our like reflection time. And also, like,
moments together before the chaos of the day begins, right?
Exactly. Very important.
And for me, again, it's kind of the opposite. So I like to have a really strict morning ritual. So I always get up at the same time, 6 in the morning, no matter when I got to sleep. So I always have to go to sleep early.
Very disciplined. That's amazing.
Yes. And then I love to carve out like an hour for myself where I do my photobiomodulation treatment, where I do some kind of relaxed sports, I would say, yoga or something like I mentioned, power plate, and really get into the day and make my to-do list, like write it down. Also do something like cold shower afterwards. So I already have, I think the most important thing for me at the end of this is that I have a feeling of victory. So I already won the day. Even if I lay down again, I would have the feeling I did amazing. I did a great job. So
I think that's really, really important. And if you take anything else away from this to everyone listening, is just to have those morning routines, those little rituals that you do. Even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, it will make the world of difference to your week. And over the week, over the months, it will really, really start to transform your health and wellness. So
everyone that knows morning routine must. I have to ask back.
my morning routine, I'm kind of in the middle between you two, actually. My morning routine, I wake up and I will always meditate every single day. And I do that and I sit up in my bed. So I really wasn't a morning person for a really long time. So I literally just sit up in my bed and I will do my meditation. I do the Ziva technique by Emily Fletcher. I don't know if you've heard of her, but I'll do my morning meditation for about 25 minutes, followed.
We lost the signal. You're back.
Followed by some tapping. I'll always do some tapping because for me, that's just like energy hygiene. It's just like brushing your teeth and any kind of worry. Sometimes I'll wake up with, anxieties about the day, and I will just kind of tap those away. So I'll always do my meditation, always do my tapping. I always have some lemon water, which my husband always brings me. So thank you, honey. So I'll always have some lemon water, and then the rest of the day kind of just is a bit kind of go with the flow. So I might add in some movement with my rebounder. I love using the rebounder like a mini trampoline, and then always nourishing my body with something good to eat. So yeah, but the meditation and the tapping is kind of always locked in for me. Okay, final question, guys. What has brought you joy today? And I realize it's not the whole day, hasn't gone by, but
it hasn't
so far,
gone by yet.
Yeah. Or what are you grateful for today?
Up until now, not counting the whole day, before we went to talk to you, I took an hour just for myself, even though it was the middle of the day. And I took a shower, I did my hair, I did my makeup, put some music on. And that was really what I needed for, even though it was midday. But I love that I allowed myself to take that time.
Wonderful. Thomas?
For me, I almost slept in today because I was up very late yesterday, as I had to do a lot of work. And then I thought, okay, maybe today I sleep longer than I usually do. But then Babsi woke up like a bit before 6 a.m. And she woke me up and told me, hey, let's go out. Let's watch the sunrise and have a walk. So I had to get up. I was so tired, but I loved it. So that's
that's nice. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I love that. And you were able to share that with her just now. Look, I think you brought her a little joy just by sharing that with her. Well, guys, thank you. I have loved every moment of this conversation. It's everything that I imagined. Guys, I don't know if any of our listeners have any other questions for Babsi and Thomas or for me, but if not, I will say goodbye. I know we've gone a little bit over, so thank you for sharing your lunch break with us, guys, or those in different parts of the world, your morning or your evening. Yes, please take advantage of the amazing offer that these two wonderful humans have offered us. You really do bring a lot of fun and vitality to a very scientific, nerdy topic. So it's been great hearing all about it. And for you guys that are all watching, thank you very much for tuning in. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you for the next one soon.
Thanks a lot.
I was going to say the same thing. Thank you for your time. This was really amazing time. Also, thank you for the EFT tapping session. I haven't done one in a really long time, and I feel like I really need to incorporate it more. So thank you for that. We're now full of energy. We're going to keep going with our day. And it was lovely to talk to you. This is definitely not the first and last time. We will do something else in the future, I'm sure.
I don't think so. One thing I will add is if you did tap along today, make sure you replenish yourself with lots and lots of water. Just like when you have a massage or anything else, even anybody that was tapping along, do make sure that you've got lots and lots of water in you today. Stay hydrated, move that energy through, and hopefully you feel a surge of energy. That's generally what people feel, is they just have a boost of energy. So thanks, everybody. Have a lovely Tuesday, and we'll see you next time.
Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.